condition. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Attention to those of you who have a revocable living trust. When was the last time you had your trust reviewed? Trust should be reviewed every 2 years because the one thing in life that's constant is change. Situational change, financial change, even our closest relationships can change, and any changes not reflected in your trust will have to go through probate. Any change in beneficiary not reflected in your trust means your money's going to go to the wrong people. Attorney Barry Siegel will give you a complete, in-depth review of your trust to make sure it's up to date at no charge. Give Attorney Siegel a call, sit down with him, let him review your old trust. You'll sleep better at night knowing that your trust is up to date. Again, there is no charge for this service. Locations, Palm Beach to Miami. Call 1-855-FLA-3782. Tell them Steve sent you.
Talk 1470, WWNN Pompano Beach, WKIS HD3, Boca Raton, Miami, Fort Lauderdale.
So you take the mouse and click over there, and then you can choose someone you want to call.
My niece. I click here?
Uh-huh.
This is Louisa. Recently she got help going online to chat with her family back home.
Okay, so then you want to hit that green button.
This is her first time on the internet and her first time seeing her niece in 5 years. Louisa doesn't know what to expect.
Louisa? Oh my gosh, there she is. This is amazing.
It's so good to see you. You look so pretty.
But this is definitely way beyond.
Oh my gosh.
See what the internet can help you do at everyoneon.org or call 1-855-387-9166 to find a free training class near you. That's 1-855-387-9166.
Oh, I've missed you.
Oh, me too.
Brought to you by Connect to Compete and the Ad Council.
AM 1470 WNN. Listen live at wwnnradio.com and like us on Facebook. Search AM 1470 WWNN.
Have you been hurt or embarrassed by a drinker's behavior? Do you tell lies to cover up for someone else's drinking? Are plans frequently upset or canceled, or meals delayed because of the drinker? You are not alone. Al-Anon family groups are for relatives and friends who have been affected by a loved one's drinking. There are over 15,000 Al-Anon family groups that meet every week throughout the U.S. and Canada. People who have been in the same situations and felt the same frustration, disappointment, and embarrassment will share what works for them. There is hope for anyone who has been affected by someone else's drinking. Are you troubled by someone else's drinking? You might be surprised at what you could learn in an Al-Anon family group from people just like you. For more information, go to alanon.org or call 1-888-4-AL-ANON to find an Al-Anon meeting near you.
Talk health. Talk wealth. Talk politics. Talk 1470 WNN.
My family and I just got back from a vacation in Florida that was more awesome than anything I could imagine. Think about that for a second. This vacation was better than anything I could imagine. Me, a 6-year-old, imagining stuff is like my job at this age. Yet, there I was, not only playing with dolphins, but talking to them with hand signals, like I had superpowers or something. I was hugging my favorite cartoon characters at a theme park in real life. In real life. I even found something better than ice cream. Astronaut ice cream. They eat it in space. In space. Somehow, this Florida vacation was more unbelievable than even I could imagine. How does that happen? Must be the sunshine.
How do you make your vacation this epic? Find out at visitflorida.com.
The opinions expressed in the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of the station, its staff, management, or sponsors. Welcome to the Golf and Travel Show, the place to fine-tune your swing, dress for the course, club, or cruise, and get tips on the best places to play and stay at the right price. Vacation or Staycation, host Dan Schub, along with his expert co-hosts and guests, will tell you where to go. To play golf and vacation, that is. Now, here's Dan.
And welcome to another edition of the Golf and Travel Show. I'm your host, Dan Schub, and tonight, like we do every week at this time, we're going to talk golf, we're going to talk travel, we're going to have some great guests, we're going to have some golf tips, and as a matter of fact, tonight we even have a bonus golf tip, so all of those folks out there that need to improve their game, you want to stay tuned for that, because you'll get better just listening. But as far as guests go tonight, we got a couple of good ones. We're going to have some fun. We're going to be joined a little bit later in the show by Robin Mackenzie Smith, and that's from the Best of Europe Tours, and also Chris Barnacle of CIE Tours. We're going to be talking a lot of Europe, Scotland and Ireland and other parts of Europe. So a little bit different. We don't always focus on Europe, but today it's going to be Europe and some tips. But what I also like to do at this time is let everybody know who I share the studio with. And first up, coming into port, is Jerry Augustine, and Jerry brings to us over 25 years of experience in the service and hospitality industry. She's currently the president and the owner of Sea Dreams Travel in Jupiter, and at Sea Dreams, she's that concierge who can create the perfect vacation for you and your family. Sea Dreams has a very knowledgeable staff that's traveled the world, and her tagline, "Your world, your way," is exactly what Sea Dreams is all about. And when you listen to the Golf and Travel Show, and when you listen to Jerry, she proves every week how booking travel yourself is not your best or easiest route. And again, this week she is out on assignment, taking care of some personal business, but she was instrumental in finding these great guests that we're going to be talking to later. So thank you, Jerry, and we're looking forward to hopefully having her back in the studio next week. And in the studio this week, to my right, is my other co-host, Jess Frank, who is a PGA teaching professional with that beautiful swing, and also the owner of the Jess Frank Golf Academy at Boca Dunes Golf and Country Club right here in beautiful Boca Raton. And Jess specializes in on-course instruction with V1 video analysis. He believes that every lesson and every swing is different. Jess likes to focus on the scoring part of your game, the short shots that are taught on the golf course, which instills a lot of confidence. You may know him from his work at area country clubs such as St. Andrews and Boca Lago and Broken Sound. Jess loves to teach, has a passion for the game because golf is challenging, in case you didn't realize it, and Jess can make it easy for you to learn and excel. And tonight you're going to get bonus tippage, so welcome to the show.
Good evening, Dan, and yes, we are going to have bonus tippage, and we'll have some fun tonight, and another beautiful day in Boca Raton. So.
Yeah. And this past weekend, I have to say, was one of the very few weekends that I was not happy to have not been out on the golf course.
Right.
Because we did get to see some really good golf on TV, so that was good.
Yes, that was a lot of fun.
It's only once a year are we blessed with the Masters.
Yeah, absolutely. And part of we saw Bubba Watson win the Masters, which is
talk about a unique swing.
Yeah, a little bit unorthodox, but I'll tell you what, it works, and he can repeat the impact position, and he's won two Masters
talk
now.
About power.
Oh, yeah, power, exactly. And that was our first tip, not our bonus tip, but this is going to be our first
tip.
And this is perfect. It's a perfect segue from the Masters of Bubba Watson into our how to gain distance, how to gain power. So the power clinic, the power tip tonight is what we're going to talk about.
Let's clear this up for the listeners, because the average golfer wants to be able to hit every shot longer than they did before. But it's really not that important to hit every shot longer, in my opinion. Off the tee, of course, when you're hitting driver, and sometimes on your second shot on a par 5 or whatever, hitting it longer is important.
Yes.
So really those are the only two times that this matters.
Well, long and straight is very important.
Right.
So we have to have that combination, and
But for every other shot, you can just take an extra club.
Yeah,
and you can
exactly.
hit the ball further. But on driver, there is no extra club.
But when there is no extra club after the driver.
Yeah,
but
the half wood.
But when you go out to the driving range, that's what people want. They want to hit it far, and they want to have fun, and the chicks dig the long ball. Absolutely. And so what we're going to talk about tonight is a little bit, actually, and Bubba does it, and that's how he gets his power and everything that we're going to talk about. And actually, I want to just talk about one myth before we start into the clinic.
And I know it was just exactly what I was just going to say. Yeah. I have a funny feeling you just read my mind, but go ahead with your myth.
So I have a myth here, and there's a couple myths in the golf swing about, keeping your head down, left arm straight, and all that stuff. But the myth to gaining power is that people talk about, you got to turn your hips faster. Well, no, that wasn't it.
What I was going to say is that he's so tall, and his swing is so big,
right.
The circumference of the swing, that is it true that guys who are taller have such a big advantage over guys that are little as far as being able to hit the ball far?
Well, Bubba definitely has an advantage because he has super long arms. He can create a tremendous amount of width in his swing, and which turns into a tremendous amount of lag in the swing. So you're right.
That ain't fair.
No, it's not. It's not. But you got guys like Sergio Garcia who are 5'6" and still hit it 300 yards.
And timing.
Yeah,
and
it's angles.
The other things that your tip is going to teach everybody.
Yeah, and it's angles and how you how the club comes into the ball and sequencing and speed, club head speed, and how to create club head speed, and it just but Bubba does, he just goes after it. I mean, you can't swing the club slow. You can't swing the club at 78 miles an hour and expect to hit the ball 340 yards. I mean, you got to be swinging at 120 miles an hour and generating some good angles and some good power and center face contact to make it go really far.
I bet from the people that you talk to at Edwin Watts, a lot of people think that their swing speed is much faster than it is when you actually clock it, right?
Geez,
it's total misconception for like every golfer.
It's so funny. It happens every day. People come in and we put them on the simulator and the launch monitor, and we're like, the guy goes, I hit it 270, and I'm like, you're swinging at 85 miles an hour. You don't hit it 270. And he's like, well, this launch monitor's wrong. And I'm like, well, if you swing at 85 miles an hour, you're only going to hit it 230, 40 yards, at the most. And he's like, well, the other day I hit one 270. I go, yeah, downwind maybe, but off the cart path. but yeah, so that's another thing too. But everybody loves the long ball, and so what we that's why John Daly was so attractive in the beginning when he came out, because he bombed the ball farther than anyone.
It wasn't the pants he wears?
No. Back in 1991 when he came out, he wasn't wearing loudmouth. And then that's why Tiger was so effective for so long, because he could hit a persimmon driver 320, 330 yards, so he was by everybody by 50 yards, and so that's a huge advantage. And now, Bubba, basically, there's so many guys on tour that generate so much club head speed and are so powerful. So it's a combination of the athlete that's out there now, the clubs, and the golf balls. So a combination of those three things.
And it caused them to make the golf courses longer.
Yeah, exactly. And there's such good, now everybody, there's, everybody's got their own unique style. And like I talk about, everybody's got their swing, and you can't make everyone swing the same, because Dan and I don't look like or are tall like Bubba Watson. He's got super long arms, he's real lanky, he's thin, he's tall, so he can generate a huge arc, and so he hits the ball a mile, and plus he swings at it at 120 miles an hour. Not everybody can generate that type of club head speed because of the fast twitch muscles in their body. But the thing that I really wanted to talk about, a couple things, is that you want to generate a lot of width in your swing, and that does not come from your hips, because the average PGA Tour player moves their hips at about 7 miles an hour. So we know that 7 miles an hour ain't going to get you 340 yards. So there's a bunch of different other factors that go into it. So there's the width of the swing, how your arms swing away from your body, and when you see Bubba's hands so high, that is something that generates a ton of power for him. But it's not the only thing. There's also separation in the swing when your upper body moves back and you pivot, and your body pivots back, and what happens is that you create that X factor. and so your upper body turns against your lower body, so it becomes like a rubber band. So that's the second thing that will generate a lot of power, okay? And then the third thing that's going to generate a lot of power is how your wrists work. And so when your wrists are able to hinge properly, up and down usually is how it works, because you definitely have to move the club up and down in the golf swing. So you have those couple things going on, and what happens now is that you put all that together, you're going to generate some serious club head speed, because usually the average club golfer doesn't do one of those things, and some of them don't do any of them. So we just, we're amazed how they even get the ball.
You need to say present company excluded before you say that.
Yeah. Well, not you, Dan. Not you. No. You hit. Actually, Dan hits the ball for all our listeners out there when we played. He hits the ball pretty far. So, for his size, for his size. No, I'm 6'2", Dan's 6'9", so it's all good. But. Yeah, so you have those three factors going in, and, you hit the ball solid on the club face, and you're going to send that ball pretty far away. So
just hit it solid on the club face. That's all you got to do.
That's it, right? It's an easy game.
It's an easy game. All right, well, what we're going to do is we're going to take our first break, and then we're going to be back with some bonus tippage, so you don't want to miss it. Awesome. Stay tuned for more of the Golf and Travel Show. We'll be right back. And we are back, and I think we've got some messages from some of our favorite sponsors, and why don't you let everybody know about it?
For sure, and today another gorgeous day teaching on the back of the range at Boca Dunes Golf and Country Club, and it was a busy day out there, too, with the Easter holiday. And Boca Dunes is located in South Palm Beach. It's one of Boca Raton's best-kept secrets, with a par 72 championship and an executive course. Both courses are a challenge for all skill levels. With the only lighted driving range in Boca Raton, there's a putting green and a snack shop, all open till 10 p.m. There are discounted memberships right now available only for $60 and receive discounted rates and afternoon specials with those memberships. It's pretty cool. And there's also a 9-hole Thursday night league for only $13 a player. You can call the Pro Shop at 561-451-1600, extension 101, for additional information. If you've never played Boca Dunes, come and see for yourself what a great course this is. Located at 1400 Country Club Drive in West Boca Raton, or check out their website at bocadunes.com. For tee times and more information, call 561-451-1600, extension 101, and mention you heard about them on the Golf and Travel Radio Show right here, and receive $10 off morning rates. In our other sponsor, which is very important to me as well, is Edwin Watts Golf Shops. Come and experience the passion and love of the game at Edwin Watts Golf Shops. You will find the latest in golf technology, custom fitting, and the most knowledgeable staff in the industry. For over 40 years, Edwin Watts has been the most trusted retailer in golf. You will have the ultimate shopping experience as you get fit using the TaylorMade, About Golf, Game Changer, Ping In-Flight, or Mizuno custom fitting technologies. Purchases are also backed by the 90-day playability satisfaction guarantee, which is the strongest guarantee in the industry. And right now, purchase 3 dozen golf balls and get a dozen free with imprinting on Titleist Pro V1s, Bridgestone B330s and E6s, TaylorMade Preferred Tour, and the Callaway Speed Regime golf balls. In addition, we also have the TaylorMade JetSpeed driver, and when you buy that JetSpeed driver, you're going to get a JetSpeed fairway wood or hybrid for free. So that's pretty cool. Visit an Edwin Watts Golf Shop today with 5 convenient South Florida locations in Fort Lauderdale, Palm Beach, Plantation, Doral, and North Miami, or visit us on the web at edwinwattsgolf.com. That's edwinwattsgolf.com.
Drive past the pool and the 18th green. like you a beer. She said, I'm glad you asked, but I have to pass. Only members are allowed in here. And I said, hey,
And we are back. And I love hearing that
you
song.
are the best DJ on the face of the planet, Dan, when it comes to picking these songs. I love them.
Yeah,
I love them.
There's a million of them out there. You just gotta find them. That's all.
Travis Tritt is awesome. Brings me. I like the tin cup days. So it's all good.
It is, and of course you're busy at the country club giving lessons all day. And,
I love it. I love it.
We were also talking about the tie-in from the Masters, and of course, the thing. The driving, the distance, it's great to have it at the Masters, but at the Masters, what really is important is your putting and your short game.
You gotta be good around the greens. Holy mackerel.
I mean, it's not only being good around the greens and on the greens, it's your approach shots and picking where you're leaving the ball on the greens, because there are some putts that are just impossible.
I mean, you saw Phil Mickelson, I think it was on Friday, that he was on number 10 green, and he literally putted the ball on a 90-degree angle to get to the hole. I mean, it was like 20 feet of break. I mean, it's crazy, but if you've ever been out to Augusta National and you know the hills and the undulations, and TV just doesn't do it justice. And then the greens are, you're putting on a tabletop.
Well,
I mean, it's like a
think
pool
Phil
table.
also hit a shot from one bunker over the green to the other bunker, which
sure.
I mean, all of us do.
Everybody
when we play,
does,
but you don't see the pros do it too often.
Yeah, well, then again, they are playing and practicing, a lot, and then plus they've been playing for a long time, and they're it's like any professional athlete that they've worked very hard and put in tons of hours, and they've played, and they have that feel in their hands and around the greens. And one of the things that I would definitely stress whenever I give a lesson, and especially with beginners.
Wait, before you even get into your bonus tip,
okay.
Let's just set it up by saying the women love the long ball and the driving, but if you want to improve your score, it's the short game that you need to focus on. So now for the people that are serious about getting their score lower, this is the tip for you.
Yes, this is the one. Well, if you can drive the ball long and be a good putter and chipper the golf ball, you're going to shoot a lot of low scorers. So it's really something that goes hand in hand. But even Bubba, who hits it a mile, has such great touch, and so did any of these long hitters. To be out on the tour, you have to have the whole game. But especially with beginner golfers, and teaching a couple of beginners today, we just worked our way right around the green, chipping, putting, getting up and down, and it's amazing the improvement they show on the golf course, which another thing that just gives them great confidence because they're on the golf course working on their game. So, and I'm very lucky to be in a facility at Boca Dunes where I can go out on the 9-hole course and there's not a lot of traffic, so I can take people out and spend an hour and a half with them, or longer. And it's really good because I can work on their bunker game and their chipping and their putting. And really what happens is that once they get really good with their chipping and they start to contact the ball in the center of the club face, it's amazing that the ball flies up in the air towards the hole. And I look at my student and I'll say, how'd that feel? And they'll just smile and they're like, that was great, because they've never gotten a ball up in the air before. And so by doing that, by working around the greens, understanding how to swing the club, how to make proper impact, and one of the things that I really like to do, especially with beginners, and I've done it with all levels of players, but especially with beginners, is the fact that I take their hybrid out and I have them. Well, first what I'll do is I'll have them putt, and then I'll have them feel what a putt, putting stroke, and then we'll lengthen the putt, and then we'll go off the green and give them a hybrid, and I'll say, just make a putting stroke with your hybrid, and sure enough, they start making a putting stroke, and they hit the ball solid, and because they're not with a putter, they're not trying to get the ball in the air. And so what happens when you try to get the ball in the air with, let's say, a sand wedge or a 9-iron, then you start sculling it and you start missing it.
That's you're trying to lift the ball.
Exactly. Exactly. So taking the putting stroke back to chipping and using a hybrid, because now a hybrid has very little loft too, and just chipping with the hybrid, and they're not trying to get the ball off the ground with a hybrid, but what happens is all of a sudden they start to make solid contact, and they can hear and feel the difference difference in what a solid shot feels like versus a top shot, or when they scull it across the green.
So you have to be careful though, because I did that drill, and before I knew it, I was putting with my hybrid,
which actually might help you a little bit. Or three-wood. No, I told you the first hole you were out there, you drained that 30-footer. I was like, what putting problem do you have, Dan? Like, you're hustling me already. I'm like, you're a co-host here. You're hustling me.
Sorry.
So, but yeah. So by using the hybrid, and this is good. If anybody's struggling with their chipping or short game, definitely take out the hybrid or a 3-wood and just make a putting stroke. Don't try to hit it very hard because the ball's going to come off fast, so it's going to get the distance. But just make a putting stroke, because in a putting stroke, you're not lifting the ball, you're not trying to add loft. So with the hybrid, basically you make the putting stroke, and you can lengthen out your swing a little bit. And then from there, after you've hit about 10 in a row that are pretty solid with the hybrid, take out your 7-iron. Now make another putting stroke. And what you'll find is that now the club's going to slide along the ground, it's going to make a very shallow divot, and your ball's going to hit the center of the club face and roll up the grooves and pop up in the air. And so all of a sudden you'll be like, oh, okay, I get it, because now I don't have to try to help the ball in the air. I don't have to lift it or fall back or anything like that. And then from there, we can start to adjust your body weight position and how you set up to the ball. And so, another thing, what's great about chipping with the hybrid is that the face controls the direction of the golf ball. When you hit, let's say you're hitting the ball to the right all the time if you're a right-handed golfer, the face is coming in impact open. It's pointing to the right. So now with chipping, a student or a golfer can see which way the ball's going. So I'll be like, okay, you just hit the ball to the left for a right-handed golfer. And they'll be like, I said, which way is the face pointed? And they say, to the left? I go, yeah, exactly. I said, now do me a favor, hit one to the right. See how that feels. So they'll open the face and they'll go, okay, all right, that makes sense. And I said, all right, now square it up. So they take their hands, hand-eye coordination, square it up, boom, goes right towards the hole. And actually I had 2 students chip it in today, so that was pretty cool. And they love it, and that's fun. And then, and then eventually you back them up, but they have to crawl before they walk, and to improve your game, improve your short game, that's what it's all about right around the greens.
I have a question about that, too, from the few lessons that I've taken over the years with chipping, and I still have the problem understanding it. It seems a lot of people like to use a very, very lofted club while chipping around the green, a wedge, a pitching wedge, a sand wedge, a lob wedge even, but in reality, most instructors typically tell you to use the least lofted club that you feel comfortable with, correct?
Right.
And why is that?
Well, the thing about it is everybody sees on TV that these guys are, hitting the ball up in the air and spinning it back and all that stuff, but what they don't see is the fact that a lot of major champions have used the 3-wood and hybrid chipping technique, but the reason why is because I always live by the mantra for chipping is minimum air time, maximum ground time. So you want that ball rolling along the ground as fast as possible. You don't want to, because it's very difficult to judge it how far you can carry a ball unless you're practicing a lot. So that's why if you work with a less lofted club, let's say even a 6-iron, something that's going to get the ball on the ground pretty quickly. And that's why I love using hybrids, because then they don't get caught up. Because even a 6-iron has a sharp leading edge, so that will get caught up in the rough a little bit. But if you can make a putting stroke with that hybrid, that slides along the ground. It's going to pop the ball up in the air just a fraction, get the ball rolling on the green. And now, even if you miss it, you're not going to dig into the ground and leave the ball 2 feet in front of you. You're going to get the ball somewhere on the green where you can make a putt. And so that's where your scores start to get lower.
Wow, speaking of everybody's scores getting lower, with all this bonus tip time this week, I think people are going to, first of all, they're going to start to get lower on their own, and then they're going to have to seek you out because, once you get a little lower, you want to go all the way.
Well, we love to give a lot of value out here at the Golf and Travel Show, and it's a lot of fun too. I love it. I have a great passion for the game. So
we do. All right. Well, it's time to take another quick break, and we'll be back with more of the Golf and Travel Show. So stay tuned.
Cinderella story out of nowhere. Former greenskeeper now about to become the Masters champion.
It looks like I'm a wreck. It's in the hole!
I ride fly. Call me chocolate thunder, and I got good too, going 4 strokes under. Get out the way if you wanna go play, cause I give it my all every single day. Have a lot of cash, cause I'll sing my heart.
And we are back, and our next sponsor, is somebody who's really close to my heart, as well as just close to me in general right now, and that would be the Jess Frank Golf Academy, which is the home of the playing lesson, and of course my co-host Jess Frank, who for 15 years has been improving golfers' ball striking, consistency, and distance. He's a PGA teaching professional and the owner of the Jess Frank Golf Academy, located in Boca Raton at the beautiful Boca Dunes Golf and Country Club. So if you're a seasoned golfer trying to break 80 or a beginner just as passionate